Good afternoon, team. Let us discuss about scope and schedule document of the selected project. In the previous session, you might have selected a project and you have already created project charter for the selected project. In this session, we will be writing scope and schedule of the selected project. This is a sample document that is given. It consists of details that are to be included in the scope and schedule document of your project. Okay, this is an example one. You can read and understand what should be written actually. Okay, so before starting this document, I want you to know one important thing is that you are supposed to know how to use a project MS Project 2007 to complete project schedule, work breakdown structure, and project deliverables. So for people who don't have software, MS Office MS Project 2007, I already sent them a mail that consists of a link from where you can download the software and install it. Then a YouTube link, a 25-minute YouTube link, using which you can learn how to create a project plan and how to create another link that clearly explains how to include details of your project on project Gantt chart. So this lasts for 7 or 8 minutes. Okay, so total 25 to 30 to 35 minutes of training on usage of MS Project is provided to you. Okay, so use them and finish these 3 sections. Project schedule, work breakdown structure, and project milestones and deliverables. So to start with, let us assume you are working on a project software development project. Okay, usually for each activity, for each work, for your project, what are the main works that we perform that should be listed initially? So for example, our project might involve these important activities. Okay, so maybe I identified 7 important activities that are performed, 7 important works that will be performed as a part of developing, implementing a software system for an organization. So my first activity is requirement analysis. Then from the requirement analysis, I will be knowing about what are the key functional requirements of the organization and what kind of software they need to perform. So there is an output for requirement analysis, that is requirement specification document. So it clearly details about key requirements that are needed to be fulfilled as a part of completing the project. For the key requirements that are identified, a software engineer will be developing system design and software diagrams, using which as a prototype, as a building plan, we will be developing software. For these 2 activities, we need software engineers to work on and to complete those 2 works. Then after completing the development of the software, we will be performing testing activity. So for this, we need a software tester, and software tester will be testing the software and identifying the bugs, errors, and whether system properly working or not. The details will be identified. Once it passes the testing phase, the software can be implemented at the client location, and after successful implementation of the software, it will be tested for user acceptance, means the client acceptance, whether the client is how much happy about the software, that should be known. So when client accepts the project will be closed. These are the key main activities, very important activities or works that we conduct as a part of completing the project. How we can know what are the key activities? So it is very simple. Any activity that involves appropriate number of resources, it can be a human resource or a material resource, any kind of resource, and an activity that involves certain amount of time to complete the project. Okay, so which involves certain amount of time and which involves certain resources to be utilized, and it should definitely have an outcome. Okay, here if you see, after requirement analysis, we will be having a requirement specification document. After a design diagrams activity, we will be ready with system prototypes. blueprints using which we will be developing the software. After the developing software activity, we will be having a software that is ready with us, which can be implemented. After testing a software that is free of errors, free of bugs, and which is properly working, that will be readily available. After implementation phase, a software is really implemented for some XYZ organization, and that organization can use it. That is the outcome. User acceptance testing, there will be test results based on which we can decide whether user is happy or not. In this way, we are supposed to evaluate what type of activities you are going to conduct as a part of completing your project, and to decide whether it is an activity or not, you will be evaluating three important things: whether it is involving any resource utilization or not, whether it requires certain amount of time or not, and third one is whether the selected activity is having an outcome or not. Okay, an output. It will take some input and it will provide us some outcome. Okay, so again, under these main activities, we will be having sub activities. Like here, we can have a survey. See, maybe when we are implementing a software for the organization, employees in the organization might not show interest, or they might be afraid of the software that they are going to implement. So we need to know what are the concerns of the employees working in the organization. Maybe we might be conducting a survey to know about it. And prior to that, we will be evaluating the employer requirements, organization owner requirements. What are their purposes for implementing the new software? So we will be interviewing them, because owners will be one or two people, so we can interview them. Okay, we will be interviewing them to know what key functionalities they are expecting from the software. Then we will be conducting a survey with the employees to understand what are the regular difficulties they are experiencing while using the existing software, and what are their concerns regarding the new possible software that we are going to implement. In addition to that, we will be performing system analysis to know what kind of functional systems we are going to implement, and what kind of resources that required to complete those functionalities at basic level, because we should know what could be the budget to complete the project. Okay, to understand that. And here we should understand who are the people who will be working on this activity and completing it. Okay, we need to know resource, what kind of human resource will be working. So here maybe a system analyst or a business analyst will be working to perform requirement analysis. Similarly, if you have the first activity, maybe you will be having a business analyst or a system analyst to understand key requirements of the project. Okay, so here the main stakeholder is the main person who will be working on the completion of this activity is system analyst or a business analyst, or both. Okay, each activity will be performed by different people. So I suggest you, in similarly, you just create 3 to 4 or 5 activities under each sub activity. At least take 6 main activities. Under each main activity, I want you to include 3 to 5 sub activities. Overall, your project chart should contain at least 20 activities. Okay, including both main activity and sub activities. So after completing this, if you have any questions regarding creating a Gantt chart, just cross check this video. I have sent you 2 YouTube videos. So this this video clearly shows,
and then this will start.
This video clearly shows how to include main activity and sub activities, and how to allocate time schedule for each activity that will be explained in this 25-minute video. Okay, please use that. You try to listen to that video and finish it if you have any doubts. I guess most of the people have no questions regarding that. They already developed a number of Microsoft project documents. So very few people will be having issue. Please make sure that you listen to this one and prepare your own Gantt chart. So after that, after creating the Gantt chart, you just copy this line of activities under task name. Whatever the activities are there, you just select all elements and copy paste onto your Word document, and they look like this. Maybe we like this 3 main activities and sub activities. Now, by using this schedule, project schedule, we will be creating a WBS like this. So here it is there, right? WBS like this. What we do is we simply copy whatever the data that is there, whatever the data you have, then you just go to insert smart art and select hierarchy. Under that, you take the first option. Okay, so now what I do is like I remove everything and I will paste it. So about this, you just copy one name, your project name. Okay, and this should be at next level. So like this. When you click tab, you just select this and click tab. Okay, tab on your keyboard. They will be shown like this. Now we need to number them. Your project will become 1. And under this, you have 3 options, right? Three main tasks, they will become 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. Similarly, the tasks that are under 1.1, they will become 1.1.1 because they are subtasks of the 1.1, 1.1.2, and 1.1.3. In this way, you can create your work breakdown structure. It looks exactly the same way it is. All right. So this is work breakdown structure, and whatever the main task that you have. So these are your final main activities, and each activity will have certain outcome. So here, when you are writing project deliverables, you take all the main tasks, and mention what could be their outcomes. Okay, so my suggestion is please take enough time and finish your project charter properly, because other 2 important tasks that we finish will mostly depend on project schedule. So along with the project schedule, at each task you should identify who is the person that will be working on that activity. Okay, and you need to mention their names over here. You select appropriate names, and here you will be giving after each activity what kind of document you are going to generate. So after this, you already done with work breakdown structure. Next, final project scope. So when you are done with this one, you will understand what activities, what works actually you are going to finish as a part of completing the project. So you just mention what project works, what works you are going to complete as a project, as a part of completing the work. The project scope clearly details about what are the actual works that we are going to complete as a part of completing the project. Next, updating the key requirements. Maybe you already have written some basic details of project requirements. So now we classify it into 3 parts, maybe 3 to 4 parts. First one is budget. Second one is time, then material resources and human resources. This is the example of creating a data center. So you just follow this example and write your project requirements. First, speak about financial requirements, how much money is required. Then speak about time requirement, how long it takes to complete the project. Then you speak about material resources and human resources. By this, your project will complete. So that's it for the day. Please finish it properly. Okay. All the best team. Thank you.